fish, clothes, accessories, shoes, veggies, fruits. Common commodities that can be found in the market. When we say market, what is market? Market is not just a simple place where products are bought and sold, but it is a place where people meet together with the purpose of trade by private purchase and sale, and usually not by auction. And those people I'm talking about are the major players in the market. Who are they? The consumers and producers. Consumers are those people who tend to maximize its utility or satisfaction, while the producers are those people who tend to do all means to increase their profit. Next, interaction. Interaction is a big word, for it is the certain thing that usually happens between the consumer and producer. They negotiate with each other, discuss something formally in order to make an agreement. They make deal with each other. Have you ever wondered why price in the market change? Well then, that is because of the price determinants. Who are these price determinants? These are the demand and supply. Observe, the demand is downward sloping, for it has a negative relationship towards the price. As price increases, demand will decrease, and as price decreases, demand increases, which has a totally opposite concept with supply. For as you can see, supply is upward sloping, for it has a positive relationship towards price. As price increases, supply increases as well, and if price decreases, supply do so. Now I know, you're wondering why does these two things dictates price. You know what? Supply and demand has also or will also change depending on the situation, and these situations are called the shifters. To be more specific, the demand shifters and supply shifters. Let's go first to the demand shifters, or to the factors affecting the demand. These are the things that cause the demand curve to move either to the right or left side of the graph. Those are the consumer's income, taste and preference, price of related products, number of consumers, consumers of expectation, the future condition, and weather condition. There are two goods that we can relate on consumer's income. Those are the normal goods and inferior goods. Of course, as income increases, the purchasing power of a person will also increase. And this is the total explanation why we need to discuss the normal goods and inferior goods, because as income increases, the demand for normal goods will increase as well, while the demand for inferior goods will decrease. But when the income decreases, the demand for inferior goods will increase and the demand for normal goods will decrease. Next is the price of related products. These related products I'm talking about is classified into two as well. It is the substitute products and the complementary products. The substitute products are those things that you consume when a certain thing, or when the certain thing that you usually consume increase in price. For example, you usually consume beef, but to a certain reason its price increased, which made you to decide to find another good as a substitute, like chicken, which has a much cheaper price than beef. While the complementary product are those products that when you consume it, you need to consume the other one as well. Example is the cell phone and charger. You can't have cell phone alone without having charger, because without charger, it is useless. Number 3 is the taste and preference. Of course, our demand usually depend on what is trending or what is in our generation. So if the trending item, for example, is the skater skirts, the demand for the skater skirt will also increase, and the demand for simple jeans will decrease. Next is the number of consumers. If there are many consumers, then there will be a large amount of people, of course, enough to influence the demand curve. The next, consumers' expectation to future condition. For example, if the TV news said that the gasoline price will increase next week, then consumers will buy many gasoline now for preparation for the rising of the price next week. So the demand curve will shift automatically. Next is the climate factors. Just common sense, guys. Of course, if there is calamity, the demand of the people will also be affected. It will change in accordance to what calamity they're facing with. Now we've gone through with the factors affecting demand. Now let's move on to the shifters of supply. These are the factors affecting the supply, or the things that causes the supply curve to shift either to the right or left side of the graph. These are the price of inputs, technology, producers' expectation to future condition, numbers of producers, price with respects to its competing products, and weather condition. I will no longer to discuss to you the numbers of producers and weather conditions, for they are very common, and the assumption of the number of producers and weather condition is just the same in the demand and supply. Okay, so price of inputs. As the inputs price increases, then the supply will also decrease. But if the price of inputs or the raw materials used in the production will decrease, then supply will increase automatically. Next is the technology. If you have an advanced technology, your supply will increase, of course. For everything that you are going to do, or your production will be much easier and will be more faster than before because of the advanced technology that you do have. Next that I'm going to discuss is the producer's expectation to future condition. Of course, it is expected that the supply will also change depending on what season or what kind of situation or the expected situation will be on the future. And then the next or the last one that I'm going to discuss is the prices which respects to the competing products. Of course, as the price of the competing products increases, you will also increase your price to have the same level of price and as well as the supply as well. Because in accordance with the thing I've discussed before or earlier about supply has a positive relationship with the price. So as the price increases, the supply increases as well. So let's move on to the next one, which is the graphical presentation. This is the result when we apply already the shifters, the demand shifters and the supply shifters. When the demand shifters are being applied, then the whole curve or the whole demand will shift from demand 1 to demand 2 or D1 to D2. While in the other hand, if the supply shifters will be applied, then the supply curve or the whole supply curve will change from left or either to the right. In this case, the supply changed towards right. Okay, from supply 1, it changes to the curve of supply 2. And because of these changes, the price also changed from price 1 from price 2. This is the general explanation or the general things that happen when the shifters are being applied or the shifters affects the normal condition in the market. Well then guys, those are all the things that I just wanted to discuss. Those are just the basic things. Then guys, if you don't understand it, I'm telling you, you're stupid. A joke. But then guys, seriously, to be a rational consumer, you need to know it. Okay? So the last one that I'm going to say, as an economist students, be wise and be a productive one. For every minute of your life counts. That's all, and thank you. Hope you learned something. Bye-bye.